Well, that is now an ODI innings with so much event in it, typical ebb and flow of the one-day game that we sometimes come to miss in the other formats. We don't get a lot of one-day international cricket, but when we get it like this, it's worth watching. 287 is what India have managed after winning the toss and batting first in this second ODI at PAL. It's just a few short of what South Africa were, but let's see what Darryl Cullinan and Sanjay Manjrekar made of that innings. India started steadily, Sanjay. Bang, bang, South Africa struck back. Then Pant and Rahul with the partnership of 115. Bang, bang, South Africa strike again. And it took some runs towards the end to get India to a good score. What do you make of that score in that innings?
I think it's a good score. Now, I think a couple of things that we've got to look at is how KL Rahul, captains and leads the team, because one of the factors that's been very important from South Africa's standpoint and why they won the last game, and today we saw the effect as well. They have bowled their bowlers according to the surface. We had about 31, 32 overs of slow bowling in the last over from South Africa, with 3 spinners and Peklukoyo as the 4th. And today we saw about 35, 36 of slow paced bowling, 3 spinners, and again, Andile Peklukoyo. So India bowled just 20 overs of spin and slow paced bowling in the first one day. Today, if they learn from South Africa and take the pace off, the score is going to be hard to achieve. But really, the key is going to be how KL Rahul leads the side and the choice of bowlers that he has, the spinners under pressure.
Darryl, give me your first thoughts after that innings.
Well, I was going to say what Sanjay said. It's unusual. South Africa in a one-day innings, over half of the overs have been bowled by the spinners. I don't know if Peklukoyo would consider himself one spinner, Sanjay, but just showing his versatility.
Slow-paced bowler.
Yeah, he did that beautifully. I mean, brilliant work by de Kock behind the stumps with another good stump in.
Yeah.
But they must sit down and wonder, right, if India strike it here, taking the pace of the ball, as we know, that's the advantage of batting first. You can go into the changeover with an idea of a message back to the bowlers, right? This was tough to score against. These are the lines to bowl. So it's all for India. They are to square the series. They've got a great opportunity.
Can't help but have a chat on the 2 innings of note in that Indian batting innings, and almost like Rassi van der Dussen and Temba Bavuma in the first game, you had Pant and Rahul respectively played those roles, not necessarily for as long as the South African batters did. But let's start with the Rishabh Pant innings, shall we, Sanjay? 85 of 71, launching a counter-attack, probably his best one-day innings. If you just scan through the few that we've seen so far, give me your thoughts through it.
Yeah, batted at number 4 in the last game as well. And traditionally, number 4 is somebody who has all the gears. The first gear, picking up the singles, putting the ball in the gaps, because there are 5 fielders inside the circle when you bat at number 4. And Rishabh Pant is not your ideal number 4, the traditional number 4, who has all the gears. He's more block, and then, hit the ball out of the ground. But today's innings was another reminder of how exceptional this guy is. I mean, his onslaught against Shamsi, the first ball that he bowled hit him for a 4. The sweep shot was played much squarer. The second one finer, and then there was the square cut. So hard batter to bowl, to exceptional skills. And if not for that, wicket, Shamsi got him out. Eventually, India would have been looking at 310-20. And in the end, also that India got close to 290 is more the Pant effect on the Indian inning, because this is not Indian batting, coming back into form. This is more the Pant effect on the whole innings.
And it was an attack launched after Virat Kohli fell for a duck. You think that doesn't happen often, Darryl. And Sanjay points out Pant versus Shamsi. That seemed like the contest within the contest, one that Shamsi eventually would be happy with claiming the wicket. But we saw what the intent was. Tell me what your thoughts were as you saw Pant especially take on Shamsi and craft that innings of 85 of 71.
Well, Shamsi might have got him out, but I think Pant won that battle, to be honest. The way that he used his feet, he swept him square. He is a special talent, and there's no doubt. And I love his batting, that sort of, not just today's style where the bat's up, it's just that sort of tap of the bat, slight back lift. I just think Arjuna Ranatunga when I see him bat. Very similar in style. But it's why I'm favouring India at this stage is I just question if there is a South African batsman back to the wall. He came in and he played as if there was nothing wrong, no questions about the pitch. It was really a brilliant innings. And, with him playing like that, anything's possible for India in that middle order. But he's definitely a crowd pleaser. He's a guy that you want to sit down and watch back because he has that air of excitement. What's going to happen the next ball? Where's he going to hit it? So great entertainment and very skillful innings, I must say.
Shall we also acknowledge Shamsi's skill today, Sanjay, that he took a pasting earlier on, but still came back and had a pretty decent end to his spell.
After today's performance, in fact, I've become an admirer of Shamsi, and this is what selectors and people like us, analysts have to do, because nothing succeeds like success. So you don't actually judge a player only by his success or failures. And you saw when Pant went after him, very difficult first over. And it wasn't that he bowled bad balls, a couple of balls that were on good length, starting off was swept for 4, and then slightly shorter ball. He went right back, which was shown in the coverage, which was excellent again in analysis on the broadcast. You saw how late he met that ball to cut. So the bowler was put under the pump, but Shamsi loved his body language. He kept his spirit. He was willing to come back, and brilliant by Bavuma to give him another spell against Rishabh Pant when he was in his 80s. So that was a bit of a gamble. And I think he went back to Shamsi because he saw that his bowler had not gone to pieces because Pant had gone after him. So really impressed by the temperament of Shamsi along with the skill that he has.
Darryl?
I thought he bowled well. Shamsi is not about containing batsmen. He's not a 10 for 40 type of bowler. He's there to take wickets. And whilst he's taking wickets, I think he's doing the job. He's the liberty that South Africa can afford themselves in terms of their attack. And if he knocks over one or two big players, then he's definitely worth playing. And I do like his cricket. I love his energy. I love his competitiveness. So that's a good positive sign for South Africa. He hasn't played a lot of ODI. He's been more preferred in the T20. But I think with the build-up with the World Cup in the subcontinent next year, he's got to play a role.
Sanjay, was all praise for Temba Bavuma, the captain, and his tactics today. Darryl, from what you've seen of him, is he growing into the kind of captain that you admire for his tactical nous? Temba Bavuma again today on the money?
I think he's settled down, Ronak. He's always been under a lot of pressure. I think his form in the Test series was good, 100. And when you've got a captain getting runs, you definitely are a better side. And he is more of a happier, more complete sort of player. I feel the players do respect him. I think as terms of his leadership and their confidence in him to take the team forward. Like all captains when he initially started, you just sense he was a bit all over the show. But I couldn't find any sort of moments where you felt that, hang on, he's got this wrong. So he's definitely, without a doubt, grown in confidence as a captain.
He's still young. You think in his ODI career, this is just his 15th one-day international. Temba Bavuma has been around a while, but seems to grow on us. Let's talk about his counterpart, shall we? KL Rahul. Once again, we saw a different construct of an innings from KL Rahul. Sanjay, one that I guess we have to try and analyze and understand. What did you make of his approach?
Somewhat expected. Quickly asked our guys on Cricket Info stats to find out KL Rahul's performance in the IPL for Punjab Kings when he is a captain and non-captain. I was looking at the strike rate. And when he is a captain, strike rate of 133. When he's not a captain, 146. So this is KL Rahul. When he becomes captain, the impact that he makes as a batter gets diminished. And that is something that hurts the team in the end. And you've seen that hurt Punjab Kings in the IPL. But today, you could say with Rishabh Pant batting there and the kind of overall confidence that the Indian team currently has, he saw potential issues had he got out early, especially with Virat gone. So I could understand the innings, but going forward, I just want to see KL Rahul, the guy who makes an impact with bat, like Virat Kohli, for example. Virat Kohli, when he became captain, didn't lose Virat Kohli, the batter, who won him a lot of games. I want to see the same with KL Rahul.
We did bring up after the last game, Darryl, that one thing that worked to Babuma's advantage was he got 6 overs out of Aiden Markram, where Rahul was not willing to perhaps take him on. Today, he got 8 overs out of Markram. Again, Rahul didn't necessarily take the attack to Markram like Pant did to Maharaj and Shamsi. Was that a trick missed, or would you understand Rahul's approach, given perhaps that there was a little of a challenge with the surface or with the scoreboard? What did you make of it?
I thought he played the right sort of innings. Dhawan was scoring well. I'm with Sanjay on this. Had he got out, you just don't quite know, because the thought at the back of his mind would have been, well, how good are we going to be in the middle order? And it was about, for India, occupying the crease. They probably had 5-6 down, maybe wanted to be, say, 3 or 4 down come the 40th over. So I can't point fingers at Rahul's sort of innings. I thought it was an experienced innings. And one must always trust the guys out in the middle. Sitting in the stands, you can't score quicker than them. So if India are to go on to lose the match, I wouldn't point fingers at he sort of not. Perhaps just 1 or 2 having been in, particularly Darwin. I thought it was a little bit of a soft dismissal. That's where I would point the fingers.
All right, fair enough. Let's look ahead then, shall we? India have 20 overs of spin at their disposal, Sanjay. And will we see Venkatesh Iyer bowl? What do you think KL Rahul has to get right now if he has to level this series?
One of the main reasons that South Africa won the last game, and again you saw evidence today, was the fact that they had 34 or 35 overs of bowling, which was below 100 kilometers per hour. A lot of deliveries from Pekul Kwai were in the early hundreds, so he was taking the pace of making maximum use of pitch. Now, this is a surface where the likes of Bumrah and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Shardul Thakur, this is not the pitch for them. So Ashwin, I think we'll have to deliver. KL Rahul was having a long chat with him in the pavilion, so he'll have to make a mark today. And KL Rahul, the captain, must find a bowler who can take the pace off, bowl at 110 kilometers per hour average speed. Whether it's going to be Venki Iyer or somebody else, we'll have to wait and see.
Would you start with spin, Darryl?
The thought ran through my mind now, just listening to Sanjay. What about Ashwin starting against the left-handed cock? But it might just, the harder ball might just come on. It's all going to be about, I think I'd love to see the spinners when the ball's a bit rougher or the openers have got through their spell, just look to turn the ball. I think that's going to be the key. And taking the pace off the ball, no doubt, is the way that India need to be thinking here.
And stay in the moment, Ronak. I think that is the key. No long-term plans, this is what we're going to do, because that was the most impressive part of Bhuma's captaincy and how he used his bowlers optimally. Rahul didn't do that in the last game. A couple of his bowlers were being expensive, but they completed their 10. Today, you could see that Shamsi bowled as much as he should. He felt, and even with Keshav Maharaj and Markram. So when you have somebody like Markram bowling those overs, he can use all the other bowlers optimally. I think that is the word. So if India can find a way to ensure and nobody over bowls, if it's their day, they complete the 10 overs. If they're not bowling well, they don't bowl their full quota of 10.
All right. Now, the two of you did get it right at halftime in the first ODI. 296 was enough for South Africa. Anyone willing to give me a prediction for today? Darryl, it's a similar sort of score. India to defend this or South Africa to chase this?
I think it's going to be tight, but I think India will just sneak home.
All right. Sanjay?
1-1 at the end of today's game. Series
Excellent.
scoreline.
Excellent. For a neutral, that's all we want. We want that game on Sunday to be worth something. So let's see if that is indeed where we stand at the end of this match. Many thanks to Sanjay Manjrekar and Darryl Cullinan for their time and their thoughts. We will have more from them at the end of the second ODI. 288. So it should be a cracking contest, this, with the South African batting lineup. There two guys are at least in form after the last game, and an Indian bowling lineup that has plenty to prove, but the advantage of having won the toss today. Join us at the end of the game.